Hi, hello, it's James and Watts. Welcome to my YouTube channel. I'm going to get straight into it today in case anyone clicked in for the title and just wants to get knit along information. I will try to stop myself from the, like 20 minutes of idle chatter that I tend to begin videos with. Don't worry, idle chatter lovers. I'm sure I will deliver, but let me talk about the knit along first. So I just released last week my newest summer mesh pattern. Oh my god, why is the apartment maintenance working on the apartment next to mine? If you hear banging, it's probably what it is. So I just released Look at My Holes Boxy, which uses the stitch I came up with for the original Look at My Holes, which is a raglan sweater, and puts it into a breezy box top with a little split hem moment, twisted ribbing, a boat neck that I always get that perfect balance on a boat neck. I want to have the option to wear off the shoulder or on. And I got that in this sample, and there's info on how to do all that in the pattern. Anyway, super cute. And to celebrate my new crowning achievement in the world of sexy knitwear filled with holes, I decided to host a summer mesh knit along. So the knit along started on Friday. It was a very casual start. There wasn't like a big cast on moment or something. And it's going to go for 8 weeks, so until July 11th. And all of my mesh patterns are eligible. So that would be Look at My Holes Boxy, Pure Mesh Pullover, Pure Mesh Tank Top, Partition Pullover, which is what I'm wearing, Partition Tank Top, Boat Neck Batwing, Practical Sweater. Am I forgetting one? I think that's all of them. Should be 8. Anyway, you can find all the info online. So any of my mesh patterns are eligible. You can, if you already have one of my patterns as a WIP, as a work in progress, that's also cool if you want to enter with that. And I'm primarily hosting the knit along on Discord, which if you've never used Discord, it might be a little bit scary at first just because it's like a new platform, but I promise it's pretty intuitive and easy. It's also really easy to like join. Like there's just a link, which is in the link in my bio on Instagram, but of course I will put it in the video description below. You just click on that and it's so simple. It just like asks you to choose your nickname and enter the Discord. It's really fast. And then there's just like a bunch of threads for chatting and sending photos. And we already have well over 100 participants in the Discord, and it's really cute. I love to interact with everyone who joins, but even more, I love to see everyone joining and interacting and meeting each other. That's really sweet. So yeah, get on the Discord, knit along with us, get some mesh. Tis the season. Summer is upon us. And what else? Let me next talk about the prizes because there's a lot of prizes and honestly they're really good, so that's exciting. I have right here in front of me a full set of the Like Cypra interchangeable circular copper knitting needles. These are the 5-inch tips. So this is the exact same needle set that I have, and this was generously provided by Knitting Fever, the distributor for Like products. And they sent me these needles for myself a couple years ago, and ever since they've been my main needles. They're just beautiful. I love copper. I love copper cookware and home decor and now knitting needles. They get a really beautiful patina. They're metal, but a little bit more grippy than like other popular metal needles, I would say, which I really love a slick needle, but there can be a utility to having a metal needle that is a little less slick. Anyway, I really like these. So a full set of those is up for grabs. And then also from Knitting Fever, I have, my favorite prize that I just want to keep, honestly. I have a Noro yarn sampler pack. Ah. I wish I could get a better angle for setting up filming to where you could see everything on the table, but I feel like you can barely see what's on the table in front of me. So let me just hold stuff up. I have in front of me 5 balls of Noro. I've got Sayun, 2 balls of Sayun in different colors. Kurion, Silk Garden, and this is Madara. And honestly, I might supplement this Noro prize with another ball or 2 from my own stash because I'm always using Noro and sometimes I have an extra ball after I'm done with the design. So a Noro yarn bundle, kind of like a sampler pack. And then for a second sampler pack, I have also from Knitting Fever, a Juniper Moon Farms sampler, which I've always known about Juniper Moon Farms. I've never knit with them, and this is my first time to like really get to see so many of their bases and feel so many of their bases. And they're beautiful yarns. Oh, also I just found, I have a Like acacia wood needle sizer and gauge tool. If that appeals to someone, I'm putting that with the needle set. So, from Juniper Moon Farms, I have, let me show the 2 yarns that I really am excited about first. There's Iris, which I also got a skein of this for myself to try out in a different color, and I might swap the colors depending on my mood of which one's going in the prize package. But this is it's like a super fuzzy, it's like a thicker mohair kind of yarn. No mohair, sorry, 70% alpaca, 20% silk, 10% wool, but it is one of those brushed fuzzy yarns, but at a thicker gauge. And with a little bit more of like a spirally texture to the core yarn. And then this yarn is Moonshine Fine, and it's baby alpaca, wool, nylon, and silk. And I don't have one of these for myself, but I might need to think about if I could ever do a design in this. This is really soft, drapey, beautiful yarn. I love the baby alpaca. I feel like I don't really knit with alpaca much, not nearly enough. But I feel like this and like a lace sweater would be so nice. I also have a skein of Beatrix. Does this have bunny in it? Oh shit. This has 30% Angora. That is fancy. Sorry if you win this and then you have to live with the fact that I put it up to my face to smell it. If you're a pervert, maybe you like that. And then I have Patagonia Organic Merino in this beautiful emerald green. And then this is Cirrus Rainbow. It's like a summer gradient yarn. It's 100% cotton, but it's like that really soft, kind of fuzzy cotton. So honestly, I think this would be low-key a little bit warm knit up. So maybe more like fall, spring kind of a yarn. But that is the Juniper Moon Farms prize yarn bundle, whatever you want to call it. And then I have another thing that I can physically show you. Oops. Okay. I went to H&H, which is like a big industry yarn festival. There's a few of them around the world, but there's one in Chicago that I think happens yearly. I'm not sure. But it was my first time at an H&H, and it was really cool to meet so many, oh my God, sorry for the banging behind you. but it was really cool to meet so many like industry people and make new connections. But I met this really nice business owner of, oh my God, it is literally scaring me. It's like never as loud in the videos as it is in real life, thanks to my cute little lavalier mic. But it still throws me off to be having bangs and crashes right outside my door. So, anyway, there's another part of this, isn't there? So, I met this lovely business owner of B Creative Studios, and she does like a lot of cute notions, accessories, stitch marker packs, and then she does these yarn ball holders, which I love this kind of fluorescent plastic where like all the edges glow like that. But you have a disc and then you have like a spindle, which the disc has a needle gauge on it, and then the spindle has like an incredibly accurate ruler on it. She was telling me it's like calibrated really perfectly, and you just stick that on, and then there's a leather wristlet, and then you put a cake of yarn on the holder, and then if you're someone who likes to knit on the go, you can have your yarn hanging and just coming off from this while you knit. Another thing she showed me that I liked the idea of, she was like, you don't have to be using this like on the go, walking, standing. You can take off the wrist strap, just put your yarn cake on this, and then it like, I don't know why I felt the need to drop it to demonstrate this. You can just have it like on the table or on the ground, and it just keeps your ball from rolling all around. So that was cool. She gave me one so that I could try it out and enjoy it, and then she has agreed to donate 2 prize packs for the knit along. So 2 lucky winners will get one of these ball holders as well as a stitch marker pack. So that is exciting. Thank you, B Creative Studios. It's like HAP, like happy, HAP, and then BEE, Creative Studios, if you want to check them out. I can also link everything. And then we're not done yet. There's still more prizes, but that's everything I have to show you for fun in the video. But also up for grabs is a $50 gift card from Ritual Dyes, one of my favorite brands. Thank you, Rachel of Ritual Dyes, for donating that prize, as well as a $100 gift card to Westwool. So thank you, Stephen West. Thank you, Stephen and Penelope. Westwool is Stephen's yarn brand, which, if you remember my antiphonal shawl, that is knit out of Westwool, which I really enjoyed using it. Actually, that's my second Westwool design. I did a Westwool design when they were pretty new, I feel like, as a yarn company, when I did my Streamers pullover, which was my pattern that I did for Pom Pom Quarterly. I'm having a second coffee of the day, which I might just be entering back into an era of 2 coffees a day, because lately I just feel like treating myself and having a midday pick-me-up. Like, who could begrudge me that? Okay, other details about the KAL? Not really. The only last thing I want to say is, if you are watching this and you are a Chicago knitter, please consider joining me for an in-person knit night, of which I have 4 across the city at different yarn shops. Maybe it's your favorite yarn shop and you'd love to come hang out there. Maybe it's a yarn shop you've always wanted to check out, or one you've never even heard of. Whatever it may be, I hope to meet you there. Come hang out, knit with me, and also meet other knitters, buy some yarn, enjoy. So we're starting at Sister Arts on May 29th, and I believe that is 5 to 8 p.m. I'm gonna put all these details in the video description because I'm just like reading notes out of my notebook right now. And then the next knit night is at the Drop Stitch, which, if you haven't heard of the Drop Stitch, it's a newer shop and it is in Andersonville. And that is on June 6th. And then on June 22nd, we have Knit Night at Knit One. And let me just say, for the Drop Stitch and for Knit One, we ask that you RSVP, and there will be links to that. The drop stitch knit night, the shop is really small, so it can only accommodate like 10 people. So that one is $5, and the shop owner Hannah brings like drinks and snacks that are provided. But it's just to make sure that people who RSVP actually show up because space is so limited in that one. All the other events are free, but Knit One, we do also ask that you RSVP just so there's like a head count. I mean, there is a limit to how many people could RSVP for Knit One, but it's probably more like 30 something. Um, Less likely to fill up than the drop stitch. And then, so Knit One is June 22nd. And then Miss Purl is June 29th. And Miss Purl and Sister Arts, we're not doing an RSVP. You can just show up. Anyway, please just read the description because me shouting these out from my notebook, not that effective. And that's that. Get on the Discord, join, have fun, knit some mesh. So many people in the KAL were saying, oh, I have had this pattern of yours for 4 years and I've never knit it. And this was the push I needed to knit it. And good. Oh my gosh. Don't just buy my patterns to collect them. Knit them and enjoy them. All right. Now can I have my idle chatter? I just got straight into business. And I'm in a business mode, but all of a sudden, you know what? I feel it leaving my body. First of all, let me just complain a little bit. Why did it take me probably like maybe over 1 hour to set up for this video? I don't know why. I just like could not get happy with the lighting. It's a super overcast, cold day today. So that definitely changes it. Like since I've been doing this setup, I have mostly had sunny days and I get a lot of nice light from this window here. Plus I have my big tripod light on this side. But yeah, I don't really have much natural light, and it just, I tried many different angles. I tried filming back in the living room a little bit, and ultimately I ended up pretty much going with what I've been doing for the past few videos, which has worked fine. But I'm not actively wanting to buy a new lens for my camera, but at some point in the future, I may want to get, this is a 30 millimeter, and just due to the small size of my apartment, it would make my life much easier to have like a, I don't know, I'd have to look at the different focal lengths, but something to where I could have my camera closer and maybe a wider angle. Like I would love an angle where I like, obviously I'm completely in the frame, but I could get more of like a tablescape in front of me. And that's a little bit difficult to do with this camera, or with this lens rather. Anyway, it's fine. I ended up finding like a lighting solution that worked. I also have flowers, which if you are an OG viewer, back when I started this podcast in Croatia, I always had fresh flowers for like every video. It was like something I was doing. And I haven't had flowers even once since moving into this apartment, just because I've not wanted to spend money on something as wasteful as just pretty flowers for my apartment. But I just had my concert with the Chicago Recorder Society on Sunday, which was really cute and really fun. And there's 2 people who helped lead our meetings, and they were both given bouquets of flowers after the concert. And one of them, her name is Nancy, and she's such a character. I really like her, honestly. But she was like, oh, thank you. And then immediately goes, does anyone want these? I have no place to put them. And someone was like, really? Like, you don't want them? You can't put them on a table somewhere? And she was like, they're just gonna trigger my allergies. I can't have these in my house. And like, no one wanted them. And so when I was leaving and saying bye, I was like, Nancy, did anyone claim your flowers? And she was like, no, do you want them? And I was like, yeah, please. So I have these beautiful flowers, but tell me why. As part of my framing for this video, I was like putting the flowers in so many different spots, and I swear, like, it's a pretty arrangement in real life, but it was looking so weird on camera. Like, I don't know, it's kind of a weird thing to say about a bouquet of flowers, but like they just weren't giving what I wanted them to give. Like they were just looking kind of ugly and visually distracting in the frame. So I was like, fuck it, no flowers. I also was gonna wear Look at My Holes Boxy because it's my new design, which I love that pattern. I love the way it turned out, but it also just was not giving what I wanted it to give for my mood and for how I wanted to appear on camera today. And I haven't worn my partition pullover in a while just because we haven't really hit the season for this so much. We've had a few warm days in Chicago where I could have worn this. But I also wouldn't wear this for my daily, like, I would not be self-conscious or embarrassed to wear this to the grocery store, but like if I'm just going to the gym and the grocery store, honestly, I'm usually wearing my workout clothes. I like go to the gym in my workout clothes unless it's freezing, then I might have sweatpants. And then I just go to the grocery store sweaty, which is gross. But in case you didn't know, I'm lazy and am not actually like dressing up cute in my day-to-day life. If I were going out to dinner, going to a party, going to a concert, that's when I'm gonna pull something like this out. Wait, did I wear this recently? No. I wore, was it? I wore a hand knit recently to the Ichiko Alba concert, which I posted about on Instagram. I don't know if y'all saw that, but Ichiko Alba is like one of my favorite singer-songwriters, voice of an angel, and an incredible guitar player. But she had a concert a few weeks ago here in Chicago, and Park and I went. And I want to say I wore Pentapillar pullover, the checkerboard one. But why is there a small part of me that feels like I might have been wearing this? But no, I think it was the Pentapillar pullover. Mm-mm. No, it was... Was I even wearing the knit? Honestly, very fake of me if I just went to all this trouble, and I might have been wearing one of my Intimissimi, like boat neck, super thin tops. I don't know, and I don't care, okay? If I want to wear my knits, I'll wear my knits. But anyway, that was also like a bit of pre-recording inner turmoil of choosing what to wear. But I'm glad I changed because it's also slightly cold, and this just having a sleeve, even though it's mesh, makes me feel a little bit more cozy, comfy in my apartment today. What else? Should I talk about knitting? That's always an option. I finished this sock yesterday, which, tell me why my last pair of socks, which I'll just go ahead and show those two. This is from, I believe the yarn company is called the Knitted Wit, and I've already worn these once and haven't washed them yet, so they're kind of, you know, stretched out and foot-shaped at the moment. But this is the color Dragon Fruit from the Knitted Wit, and this is like an either 70-20-10 or like an 80-10-10 merino nylon cashmere. It's got that 10% cashmere, which you really do. You feel it, honestly. And this yarn was not so pricey for like a cashmere content yarn. It was, I think it was $30 flat. It may have been 32. Why did it take me like a full month to finish these? Like it really was difficult to get myself to finish them. And then I cast this on pretty quickly after because I was excited for it. And people always say like, oh, those self-striping, color-changing yarns just knit themselves. And it's cliche, but it's true. Like, I just felt like every color change is maybe just under 1 inch, but it's a good 9 rows, and I'm doing a 56 stitch count for stockinette socks for myself. And I just, every time I would sit down to knit, I would knit multiple stripes. So I was like, oh, it's just one more stripe. It doesn't take that long. Like, let me just get to the next color change. And that's how you get a sock in like 3 days. Like, honestly, I feel like I did this in 3 days, and I was knitting other stuff too. So I love that. I do need to go ahead and cast on the second sock sooner rather than later, because y'all know how it goes. If I don't cast it on, then who knows if it'll ever get cast on. And I have the yarn out, it's ready to go. Let me just do that. Other than that, also a very slow project that I'm working on. My DK Basic drop sleeve sweater. Probably y'all are sick of hearing about it, or not, I don't know. It's really beautiful, so I would not mind looking at this and seeing the slow progress every time on a podcast. But I've got a sleeve, and similarly to a second sock, I gotta get going on a second sleeve. The past like 2 or 3 days, I have not knit this because I've needed to start the second sleeve, and I keep thinking, let me just pick up the stitches for the second sleeve, and then it's so easy. And like, even if it takes me a while to knit that second sleeve because I'm doing a bunch of stuff, it's better that it's an option, you know? I can just do, if I'm too tired to knit something more complicated, I'm like, oh, let me do 6 rounds on my sleeve or something, you know? So, yeah, that's going. That'll be done soon. And then I need to write the pattern, get it into testing. If you want to test, keep your eyes open. Who knows where I will announce that test? Probably Instagram, maybe my newsletter, perhaps even here on YouTube. What else? I feel like that's about it for knitting to show, unless I'm forgetting something. I mean, I have a swatch that I'm going to show you, and I will go ahead and just quickly plug, if you, what the hell is that? If you are excited for a strippy stripe tank top, this is coming out pretty soon, like around the end of the month. Actually, I need to get going on like a photo shoot for this. I thought about delaying this just because I just had a pattern come out, but probably not. Probably it's gonna come out on like the last Friday of the month. I feel like it might come out on Park's birthday, which Park is gonna come out with a new pattern, and I feel like Jessie May might also have a pattern coming out. And I told Park the other day, I was like, do you want me to delay this so you can have your birthday to yourself? And she was like, I literally don't care at all. And I was like, okay, great. Then probably I won't. But it's called being a girl's girl, okay? If she were like, yeah, don't distract from my birthday sale, bitch, then I'd be like, okay, I'll wait 1 week. Doesn't make too much difference. Remember when I sometimes stop talking and then force you to have a moment of silence in my podcast? Kind of what I just did. I got in yarn for the KAL, for the mesh KAL. Obviously, I would like to participate in the KAL myself. And I was thinking, oh, which of my designs should I knit? Like, I don't have everything. Actually, there are several patterns that I don't have. Either I gave the sample to someone else, like boat neck batwing. I let Park have that. I knit that in her size, and I let her keep it. She modeled it for me. Pure mesh tank top. I had my friend Martz model that for me, and I let him keep it. I have knit Look at My Holes multiple times. My first one I gave away because I wasn't really wearing it anymore. It was too oversized on me. And it was just, I had worn it into the ground. It was just looking a little bit ratty. The color was a little bit faded. I had washed it. I had been, it had been in bright summer sun for many, many hours. That kind of bleaches things. So anyway, I gave that away. And then I knit myself a new look at my holes when I did the version 2 of the pattern that has the neck shaping. And I'm pretty sure that this is really sad and kind of stupid on my part, but it's understandable. I think it got thrown away accidentally when I was throwing away a lot of yarn and knits because of my moth infestation when I moved into this apartment and had moths in a lot of the stuff that had come from storage. I think there was a couple of casualties of things that probably were fine, but it was just like, it was so stressful, and I was choosing not to like, I wanted that shit out of my house. So I was not like being delicate. I was like, burn it. It's all gotta go. So I'm pretty sure that got thrown out on accident, which is sad, but barely uses any yarn, and it takes like a week or two to knit. So I was like, I could knit myself a new look at my holes, but I was talking to Jessie about it, getting her opinion. And of course, she's always going to encourage me to take the path of girl boss hood. And she was like, why would you knit one of your old designs? Just take the opportunity to design something new and like have a new pattern on the go. And I was like, you're so right, babe. And then I was like, what pattern should I do? And I've had the idea to do a like winter sweater version for Look at My Holes drop sleeve for years, just never did it. And both Park and Jessie have been bringing it up to me the past few months of being like, we would love to see a full sleeve version of that stitch. So I decided to do that, which it's not going to be my first full sleeve mesh, obviously. I've done a few full sleeve mesh patterns, but this is my first time doing a full sleeve mesh out of a heavier weight wool that is intended to be like, I mean, it's still full of holes, so you're not going to wear it with nothing underneath on a really, really cold day, but it's going to be a great layering piece or a good like transitional cold weather piece, like fall, spring. And for that, I got some skeins of Magpie Fibers Nest, which is their worsted weight. It's not merino, it's like Corriedale, I think. 100% non-superwash Corriedale, 100 grams, 210 yards. It's, the color is Twilight Brew, and it is very beautiful. It is like a really complex, nuanced golden, olive, brown, green, yellow. It's all of those, okay? It's just like such a warm golden olive. It's beautiful. It's got a lot of depth. So I got that yarn for this design without ever like feeling it, and I've never used anything for Magpie, but I've always seen people using it, and I've always thought it's beautiful. My friends have designed in it and spoke really highly of it, so it was time to try something new. And I, this morning, went ahead, it's still wet, so probably looks a little bit darker. I knit my swatch, and I just did the same needle size because even though Look at My Holes is knit with like sport weight yarn, it's knit on really large needles. It's knit on 9s because it's supposed to be like lacy and airy. But a 9 is even a little bit of a bigger size for a worsted weight yarn too. So I was like, let me just keep it on 9s and see how I like it. And I think it looks good. It's probably what I'm going to keep it on. I'm curious to see if, I haven't measured this yet. I'll wait for it to dry a little bit more. But I'm curious to see if it's going to be the exact same gauge. That would be nice, honestly, because now I've had 2 patterns working with that gauge. I'm like used to it. I guess that doesn't make that much difference. Like whatever gauge I'm using, it just gets plugged into whatever Excel sheet that I make. But it's going to be pretty as a sweater. So that's what I'm working on. It would be kind of fun if like the pattern were done and it would come out at the end of the KAL or something, but I'll plan to try to finish my sample by the end of the KAL, and then it'll go into a testing period. So maybe expect that pattern in like, I think September would be nice for that. I told myself that I was like gonna slow down with designing a little bit because I'm doing other things, not just knitting. And I don't really feel like I'm slowing down. Um, yeah, I don't know. I have a lot of ideas and I do love doing it. But at the same time, sometimes I'm like, oh my God, it just feels like one thing after the other while also doing a bunch of stuff. So I like, I run the risk of feeling burnt out. Mm. Yum. Yummy, yum, yum. But yeah, I say that because I'm just thinking of how my like fall. I do think I'm getting ahead with design, and even if I'm working constantly, it does just feel much better to be ahead because I feel like there were several designs last year where I was like designing things and then getting them out as quickly as possible right after I had like conceptualized of them and just working so fast in that way. And it feels much more thoughtful and relaxed to be months ahead of schedule, and it just works better with how slow everything goes for knitting. Then you can have time for longer testing and all of that. Um, but yeah, at the same time, I am kind of already thinking like, okay, I probably want to have a garment come out in August, September, and October. And then I want to have an accessory come out, one or two accessories come out like November, December, but we'll see. Things don't always go according to plan. So that's it for knitting. Let me talk a little bit about spinning. I had gotten this braid of Hanui wool from New Zealand. The wool is from New Zealand. I got it in Des Moines from Twine Craft Goods. Ooh, I forgot how nice this feels. And I spun this up for Jessie May. Just been waiting to show it on the podcast and then it can go to her. But let me not get any wool in my last sip of coffee. But this is a natural color. It's not bleached or dyed. It's just the color the sheep produced. And I love this. It turned out so beautifully. Like, it's really lofty and soft. It's a 2-ply fingering weight. It's like very plump. I mean, it's thick and thin. I'm not a perfect spinner, and I was not by any means trying to be so consistent the whole time. I was like watching what I was doing and aiming for what looked right, but I also, in the course of, 2 weeks that I spent working on this from day to day, I would say my target might also fluctuate a little bit of that day of what I felt like looked right for what the single ply should look like to achieve a 2-ply fingering weight. And you can see that it's a little bit thick and thin, but when I skeined it up and calculated the yardage, it is like 400 yards on the dot. So that's what I was aiming for. For a 100-gram skein of yarn for fingering weight, I want 400 yards, and that's what I got. I think Jessie said she might like to do a pair of mittens or socks. She said she might do a design. Oops. There's like an errant free-floating ply. Sometimes when you're like plying, one of your plies breaks, and I don't know. When that happens to me, I just overlap the broken ply, and then you have a couple inches where there's 3 plies instead of 2, but then you do have a little spot where like that could just be trimmed, honestly. If I had scissors right in front of me, I would trim it, but I don't. Oh well, Jessie's problem, not mine. So I'll give this to her. And then I actually just last night I had bought 2 products from Twine Craft Goods. This was a commercially made braid of top. And then he was also selling hand carded bats, which were expensive, but that's a lot of labor. And they feel like butter, so soft and nice. Definitely worth it if you are looking for like a really treat yourself kind of spin. But this is also a natural. Oh my gosh, it just feels like a cloud. It's so light. It's like weightless. And that was just a 50-gram bat, but I'm trying to similarly spin it really fine and hopefully get a pair of socks for myself. 50 grams for a pair of socks, unless I like really spin fine and then might have a thinner sock, that's pushing it. I would say I probably use like closer to 60 grams for a pair of socks for like a regular length pair. So I could do a contrast, like a gray sock with like a brown or a red um, heel and toe. I was about to say hoe and teal. I stopped myself. Could be really nice. So the only thing is like the yarn is so special and like I would love to not mix my gorgeous hand spun with some commercial yarn. Not that commercial yarn isn't nice, but you know what I mean. It would just be more special to me, I feel like, to have the whole sock be in my hand spun. So I could just do shorter socks. We'll see though. And that's the last of my coffee. What else do I have to report on? I'm trying to think, is there anything else crafting related? I think we're pretty good on crafts. I'm looking in my goodie bag over here if there's anything else to show. Not really. I have not made any jewelry in a few weeks because I've been keeping myself very busy with knitting and music stuff. And I'm also now taking the opportunity to work on the other side of preparing the jewelry launch beyond making jewelry. So yesterday I spent the first half of the day setting up this space to do a little jewelry photo shoot. I just ordered some cheap like black velvet fabric that I could have as a backdrop, and then I also have a little spinning motor, so I was like mounting rings with a little bit of like sticky tack underneath so they would stand up, and then they slowly rotate on this motor, and I have these beautiful like close-up macro videos of some of my jewelry. So, as I always say, we are inching ever closer to jewelry launch. I think it's probably safe to say we could see it in June. And in the coming days, I'd like to uh, conceptualize some logo and business card ideas. And then I might get a friend to help me with the graphic design elements, which, like, there are many things that I have done myself that are in the realm of graphic design. I'm not totally skillless in that regard, but I'm not trained either. I figure things out in a way that works for me, and uh, yeah, I would love to get some help on that. So I'm gonna ask a friend if he wants to help me. Um, what else? I am still writing on Substack every week, so if you would like to read something funny, go read the Substack I put out this past weekend. It's called, what was it? It's literally so brain dead. Um, my last piece is, so you think you might be gay. 5 signs to watch out for and what to do next. I'll read you the introduction and the first sign to watch out for. Guys, I just typed that in as a title because I'm sitting here the night before my Substack is due, and it made me laugh. But now do I actually have to write it? Okay, here goes. Number 1, you have a lisp. You can't hear it, but everyone else can. If a speech pathologist/therapist is able to fix it, you are straight. If they can't fix it, you are gay. The thing is, you will never know because you couldn't hear it in the first place. Honestly, that is adding myself because my mom told me I have a lisp. I don't know why she told me that, but she told me that in like middle school. Probably the worst possible time you could tell a little gay child that they have a lisp. And I can't really hear it. I've had many people tell me they don't hear it either, and then others tell me they can hear it. I'm sure I'll have some lovely comments that are like, oh yeah, you have a super heavy lisp. We hear it in all your videos. But I will say, when I watch back sometimes my YouTube videos, there are moments where I hear myself lisp so heavily. But I actually think a lisp is cute. I like it. I don't know why so many gay people have lisps, because it's something I've always had, and it's also something that is out of my control. Like, I can't even hear it usually, and I certainly don't really hear it while I'm speaking. I can occasionally hear it played back to me on a recording, and I've tried to like pinpoint what it is that I'm doing physically that produces it, and see if I could fix it, and it's not gonna happen. So, anyway, a lot of people were really laughing at that Substack. Maybe you would too. Feel free to check it out. My Substack is it's jamesandwatts.substack.com, and the name of my blog is Sorry I'm Good at Everything. So there's that. I had my last concert with Peoria Symphony. That went well. I mean, it was fine. I'm glad that the season of playing out-of-town orchestra gigs is closed. It is done. I will look forward to it starting again in the fall, but I've got enough going on where I'm happy to not be like going out of town for weekends for a while. I might do some other things musically. I mean, we just had our final concert of the season for my recorder group, which we only meet once a month anyway, but I'm sure we're gonna try to arrange some meetings for the summer just for fun. And then I've recently started meeting with some new friends, a pianist and a cellist, and we are talking about putting together a piano trio and actually like giving concerts. So that would be fun. That might be something I'm working on this summer. Other than that, I'm playing piano for fun at home. So that is always happening musically. I am watching The Last of Us on HBO, which I never played the video game. I was aware of all the hype for the TV show when it started. I just didn't get on the bandwagon, not for any particular reason. And then now I suddenly decided I want to watch it, which I often do that. I kind of often miss popular new things, or I just don't end up taking part. And then once it's like no one's talking about it anymore, then I want to watch it. But people are still talking about The Last of Us because season 2 is currently airing. And maybe that's why I was like, actually, I think Jessie had asked me if I watched it, and I was like, no, and she was telling me that I would really like it. So I feel like that's probably what put the bug in my ear, put the buba in my uho, as they say in Croatian. And I really like it. I was watching like one episode a day of season 1, and it's a fun way to watch a show like that that has these like really cinematic, like hour-long episodes. I like to pace it out in that way, but also you're still able to watch it much faster than, you know, if it's coming out weekly and it's currently airing. But oh my gosh, it also gave me a lot of anxiety to watch. So yeah. Uh, Also, now I more understand the Pedro Pascal. Is that his name? Hype. I don't really know who he is. I don't know when he got famous, and I don't know what he's been in. This is the first thing that I've seen him in that I'm really paying attention and like registering that that's him. And yeah, he seems so nice and sexy. So good for him. Great job. Should I DM him? That's a ongoing joke I have. Anytime I watch something with Jesse and Park, anytime someone hot comes on the screen, I go, should I DM him? And they always say yes, you should. And I've never done it, because it would make me feel a little bit lecherous. But I don't know, like, could go somewhere. Maybe I'm cutting myself off from potential romance opportunities to be DMing actors that I think are hot in movies. Um, you know who I was really asking if I should DM? Maybe this was the genesis of that joke. I think was watching the Dune movies. And who's the dude? Who's the guy who plays Timothy Chalamet's daddy in Dune? He's really sexy. And I kept asking if I should DM him. Oh, I was also, when the Olympics were happening, asking if I should DM a lot of the athletes. um, that's stupid. What else? I have been gaming here and there. I don't know, not so much the past few days. The past few days, I feel like I'm really keeping myself occupied from like the time I wake up to the time I go to bed, which I don't mind so much. Like I'm knitting and working on patterns and working on my KAL. And certainly I'll like check in with myself around 7 or 8 p.m. and I'm like, do I want to play a video game at this point? And sometimes the answer is yes, and sometimes I'm like, no, I want to keep watching like Real Housewives and knitting my project or doing something a little bit more productive, sadly. But here and there, I've been playing Elden Ring. I've been playing my 3DS. I'm trying a bunch of different games on the 3DS. I was playing Yoshi's Story for a while. What was I playing recently? Pokemon. Whichever is the one that came out on 3DS. I don't remember which it is. I want to say it's like Diamond or Pearl. One of those. Is that 3DS? Anyway, being on Discord, which is a platform that is like heavily used by gamers and their friends, a lot of the people who have joined my KAL, not a lot, but there's like a section of them that I can tell are like regular Discord users. They like have little statuses under their names that say what they're playing, and there's a decent amount of video game talk in my Discord, which I should probably add a thread just for that. But hearing people talk about the video games that they're loving always makes me want to play video games. I like watch a lot of YouTubes of people reviewing video games. I watch a lot of TikToks of like, there's a TikTok trend right now of people putting their like top 10 favorite video games of all time. And it's like, it makes me want to play. I don't always end up playing, but I still enjoy thinking about it, even if I don't. I've had the game Hades for quite a long time, and that game is like critically acclaimed and people love it. And I did start it, and I didn't dislike it, but I didn't get to that point of like feeling addicted to it where I like wanted to keep playing it all the time. But that's been, Park was telling me she wants to get into Hades. And then she ended up getting into Pokemon Arceus, which she was almost done with, and I feel like she went back in to finish it. But her bringing up Hades made me want to start playing Hades again, so maybe I'll do that. I was also in the middle of, I'm still like kind of early, but I was in the middle of a Final Fantasy VI playthrough, which I've never played before, which I ended up starting that because I was feeling inspired because I was playing an orchestra concert of Final Fantasy music, which I was talking about in my last video. So anyway, I will be playing games here and there. I am really trudging through the same book for way too long for how short of a book it is. I mean, I don't feel bad about it. I don't like feel ashamed. I just would be, I like to prioritize reading and I want to keep up the good habit of reading. It's something that's important to me. So I don't like that I've lost the habit a little bit recently. But I would say in the past week, I read before bed like 2 times. I would like to read before bed every night. But 2 times is better than 0 times, right? And last night I did a nice, like solid half hour of reading, like reading till I couldn't keep my eyes open. And I'm on the 3rd book of The Earthsea Cycle by Ursula K. Le Guin still. And I've just found it a little bit harder to sink my teeth into compared to the first 2 books in that cycle. I am still enjoying it, but the first 2 books like really grabbed me. But yeah, I'm excited to choose something else for after I finish this book. And I'm probably about 40 to 50% through this book. My Kindle, you can make it give you an estimate of how many hours you have left to finish it, and it says that I have 3 hours left to go. So it's like I could read the rest of that book today if I wanted to sit and read for 3 hours, which is not going to happen, but good to know. Anything else? I feel like I'm less chatty and less yappy today, and where's my gift of gab? I would like to yap more, but there's no yappable topics weighing on my heart today, like some days. I'm like literally looking around like, what can I talk about? I see my Instant Pot, which, okay, I had my microwave on top of the fridge for the past year that I've lived here, not plugged in because it couldn't reach the outlet, and I was meaning to get an extension cord, but then I was already kind of used to a non-microwave lifestyle from living in Europe, and then I just didn't prioritize getting an extension cord to plug mine in, so I wasn't using it. I was just using the stove. But then I decided I'm gonna get rid of my Instant Pot, which I haven't done yet, but I like rearranged my kitchen. I have a microwave cart, which was holding my Instant Pot and my food processor. And now I've moved the food processor and the Instant Pot to the top of my fridge. I'm keeping the food processor, even though I barely use it. It has high utility for when you need it, for cooking and for baking. But I realized that with moving those, that there's space on the microwave cart for the microwave. So the microwave is now plugged in, and you know what? I'm still a little bit loyal to using my stove because, like, for example, after this video, I'm gonna heat up some enchiladas, and often when I heat up a little leftover enchiladas, I crack an egg on top and like steam/fry an egg on the stove, and I wouldn't really do that in the microwave. Might like explode. So yeah, but I have used it here and there, and I'm glad to have access to a microwave again. So that was something I could yap about. Well, I guess I'll leave you there then. Thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing. Get on my newsletter, get on my Substack, follow me on Instagram, and most importantly, if you were thinking about knitting one of my mesh patterns, please take the opportunity to get in on the knit along. Okay? All right. Thanks for watching. Bye.